Okay, we're back again for part two. I brought the beer back now, so I've got the beer for part two because it is Frantic
Hey.
Friday. Cheers, everyone. Hope you're all having a beer at home and relaxing. People like John Nugent, I'm sure, is going a bit stir crazy at the moment, but it is Frantic Friday, so we need to have a beer and cheer ourselves up a little bit. But yeah, part one went well. I thought that was really good. Good to see the pictures out of the golf course, and good to see a bit of greenery coming back on some of these trees and stuff like that. And nice to see the golf course evolve as we go through spring, really. So I'm sure we're all getting a bit eager to go and play, but we've still got a few weeks left. But this part's going to mostly be sort of question answer that we sent out to the members, and we've had really great response on that. So thanks very much, everyone, for that. So I'm going to be the person asking the questions, and I will leave predominantly you guys to answer them. So I'm going to lead with the first one from my old mate, Matty Connolly, who normally quizzes me about ball washers. So it's good that he hasn't mentioned ball washers in this one. So thanks, Matt. You've let me off there, mate. Cheers, appreciate that. But he's basically asked about the fence on Pitsanger Park. He said there's some fencing issues on Pitsanger Park. Probably touch on that, but also we having a lot of public coming on the golf course at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, if you do the fence, because you've been sort of dealing with the council and that side of it, Wes, you probably know a bit more than me.
Yeah, Greg, did he want anything specific, or we're just talking about people coming in?
I think it's more to do with the fencing that's down on the chestnut fencing, but you could touch on the actual fence, what the council are doing.
Right. The last 3 weeks been really weird with members of the public. Of just generally, as time's gone on, I think people are getting stressed and more just generally annoyed by simple things. They don't really understand why they can't come in. People breaking fences, some just frustrated people, some angry people, but that's been interesting having to deal with, because obviously we've been trying to stay away from people, and then suddenly we find ourselves a bit in a confrontation sometimes, so that's been hard. Obviously the main problem with fences at the moment, we do have a fence down it's been down for a while. The club and us have sort of known about it. Quite a costly thing to actually put it back in place for the stretch that we've actually got to do. We've got the chestnut fencing, which is quite poor probably, and needs replacing at some point. A member I saw the other day was maybe putting out a shout out to if anyone's involved in fencing. So if any members know anyone, get in touch. But there are gaps. People are coming in. It's not really much we can do about it at the moment. I've sort of run out of stuff to fix it with.
I think it's a fair comment. I've in the past, you fix a fence and then they just either push that one down you've just done, or they then create another one. Ultimately, to me, the public want to go on there, and it's very hard to stop them sometimes. So, once sort of a year we have a go through it, but it's a bit of a Groundhog Day situation where you just don't feel like sometimes you get to that. But the fence to the left of the 16's all getting renewed, and behind the 6th green. So that's pretty much on the go at the moment. I guess that the situation has calmed down the work.
I've spoken to Colin is a guy that we've been dealing with the council, and Mike and Greg, and sort of we've been involved in a deal to sort of widen the path. I'm sure local people have seen it. So the latest I've heard, they're tarmacking that on the 27th of April. Type 1's in, they've widened it. They've done a very nice thing of renewing a section of our drainage for us underneath it, which is really nice of them. And through emailing Colin about people entering the golf course and what we've had to deal with recently, I think Ealing Council have actually put up some really nice signs for us, just saying, just sort of, I think I had a member report to me, they put signs around the Pitsanger Park area. Just sort of reminding people to that park areas aren't for playing sports in or sitting down, and sunbathing, which we're seeing a lot of. People are sticking to the rules. A lot of people aren't. Especially around Easter weekend. Some of the stuff we've seen on the golf course is incredible, and from people that you probably won't expect it from. I've had absolutely no problem with kids.
Really?
It's been the adults.
normally
That's amazing.
middle-aged dog walkers who are very, very frustrated about where they can and can't go, and generally don't care if it's private land. So it's been tough. But
are they causing any damage, or?
We've had people bring in sand buckets and stuff to play in the bunkers, making sand castles, riding bikes on greens and bunkers, and then classically kicking through and breaking fences literally right in front of us. Bar that, most of them have been pretty good.
Okay.
We won't bring up the most oddest thing we've seen. I'm sure everyone can imagine something was.
Okay, we'll leave that one alone. All right, that's Matt. Mark's Sangster, I think Sangster, and Chris Baker. Basically, quick question: how often are you cutting greens at the moment?
Ollie,
three times a week.
3 times a week. Tees?
Once, twice,
depending on the growth.
Yeah, depending on the growth at the minute.
And then fairways. How often are you cutting fairways at the moment?
We're just upping that to twice a week now.
Okay.
Just, so stay on top of that growth, like we were talking about before. So sort of keep them there in that standby mode.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's good. I know you've got a green fairway spray out next week, haven't you? I think.
Yeah, that'll be the first fairway spray. So we've sprayed tees already, so they've been getting a feed. Collars, approaches, greens have had a fungicide application, haven't had a feed yet. But they will be, and fairways will be getting a feed up next week. So I think that's when we really see them kick on. And also you put a growth suppressant in them, so just to hold back the growth a little bit. So put a plant growth regulator in there, Trinexapac ethyl for the scientists out there. So that helps us again just stay on top of the growth.
Perfect. Right. John Branch has asked, are there any long-term effects of no play? It's quite an interesting question. And basically, have you been doing any experiments out there because you've had no golf? Have you had time to do anything like that?
I'll go first and you go, Ollie. No play. I think general wear and tear from trolleys, footprints and golfers playing around. Obviously, the main thing that I was trying to do, I think in the first report I touched on, I tried to take a picture to show everyone the sheer amount of divots general week on week golfers create. So I tried to take a picture of the third completely divoted, and that's a tee which isn't probably that damaged from it. I'd say 9 and 18 and 11 are far worse. So I think when you guys come back, I'm really trying to push repairing tees. So basically you walk onto a completely sort of almost tournament feel tee box and green and everything. So we've been working hard on that. So we won't get any divots and plays across the fairway. That would be the main thing for me. I don't know about everything else. I don't think so.
Actually, I should mention on the tees at the moment, before the lockdown, we had irrigation contractor in to do some tees upgrade on predominantly the 5th tee, 11th tee, 15th tee, a little bit on 16, and also on the putting green, which will really benefit, and 17th tee actually, really benefit those tees. Putting more sprinkler heads, cutting up valves so you don't have one valve doing a top tee and a bottom tee, and also on the putting green adding an extra head which gives us more control, and also turning that from a block system which all the heads come up to what they call a valve in head system, which is a singler head coming up. So those areas will definitely benefit coming into the summer. So especially on our high play tees such as the 11th and 15th that really struggle throughout the winter. So that would be a good thing for members to look at. Plus the Huxley mat at the back of the practice tee. That looks good actually. I think.
Just before Ollie goes, gives his answer. I think just on changes or experiments. I keep joking with Ollie, we're going to leave one set of stairs to see how quickly it sort of completely covers up by weeds and grass, like unmaintained, just as a thing. But also, I can get the pictures back up maybe later on. But yeah, I have started tweaking cutting lines, which from a period of no one being here, it allows me to go on and sort of change things without everyone seeing the worst side of the change, because when you initially do that, you're cutting things, or you're trying to cut things lower, which have always been cut at 25 to 50 mil, and now you're trying to gut them down to 5.5 mil.
Yeah, good point.
So obviously, it's like walking out into your back lawn and suddenly dropping the mower onto the deck. It won't like it. It will look horrible for a while. So instead of doing that during spring meeting, we've got time to maybe do little tweaks. So we're trying to do that and change the course up.
No, nice. Okay.
Ollie, I don't know if you've got anything on.
We've experimented. Spraying the bunkers off, which we spoke a bit about before. Something we used a residual chemical this time, which theory is creates a barrier just beneath the surface, so that any new shoots and growth that sort of comes up gets stopped by this.
Okay.
So that's the first time I've done that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether it works or not. But in terms of sort of not having people around, it's been it's definitely been odd.
Yeah.
Been odd getting into a new sort of routine, a more relaxed routine. I think short-term benefits, like Wes said, it allows us to get everything divoted and sort of get everything flush, as we like to say. But I don't think there's a long-term benefit of a golf course not having golfers.
No, really.
So for me personally, it's sort of, we're preparing, we're in this standby limbo mode.
Yeah.
But ultimately race cars need to be driven and golf courses need to be played. So I don't. Long term, no. I don't think it's a good thing, but short term, yes.
I think Wes mentioned a good point with the greens. Greens and tees need play. They need foot traffic to keep them firm. Otherwise, they end up getting, soft and puffy. So I think, it's been short term. You're right. I think it's been good to, repair some of these areas. But long term, you do need play ultimately. So, okay. Going on to Rory and Mark Partridge asked the same question. Basically, can members come and divot fairways during this period, or other tasks? So, bit of a tricky one that to me, because with government guidelines, to me, they don't want mass people coming down, and I think in answer to that question, but how you then control that would be a concern.
Yeah, it's a good point, Mark. I think it's something that I think we and especially Ricky discussed straight away when we were sort of in the mode of not going into lockdown, but sort of thinking we were going to be. He asked that question straight away if he can do anything to help. While the staff was still there, we were thinking bar staff at some point, people just to give them hours. The more we thought about it, leading on to groups of members coming in, we just felt it was a bit uncomfortable if suddenly a lot of people start turning up. And also I think Ricky would probably find himself being honest here. He sort of had the best intentions of maybe trying to help out. We'd put buckets around the place and then basically leave them so we weren't there, because my main concern is keeping the 4 guys who are working here at the moment fit and healthy. If one of them go down, it's going to cause us a big problem. So I just sort of set them around, and in the end we just find ourselves doing them as we go around the golf course. Things happen in your personal lives. You might think, I'll come in today, it sounds like a great idea, and then you don't, and something else happens, you carry on. So actually hindered us trying to move stuff around. We're just far easier to get on and do it. That being said, we've put buckets around there basically for us. I know there's a few people who live locally. It's actually quite hard to sort of for them to divot the right thing. Because we want to focus on certain areas first. So I think
you're right. I think it's best intentions, great, but in practice doesn't quite work, and there's definitely a safety risk there, I think, for both the people coming to do it and also staff on site, these touch points which they talk about. Okay, Hazel Baker, always, actually, whenever I send a course report out, Hazel Baker always replies and always says very nice things, so well done, Hazel. She's asked quite a nice question. Is the river much cleaner during this period?
Ollie, overly. Yeah, not overly. It's quite low at the minute, which never really helps with the debris issue.
Yeah, that makes it look worse, doesn't it, when it's low split?
Yeah, to be honest. Quick answer to that is no.
I think the river's had coronavirus in it for many decades. Killed a lot of stuff in that river. Okay.
Back in the river though. The pike is back.
Right.
Is Pikey back?
The pike's back. Anthony Ferguson asked, first and 8 fairways, obviously the ones that suffered this winter, is there a leak from the A40?
No.
Ollie?
There wasn't there?
There was.
Ollie definitely found one. I know this has been a topic everyone's been talking about. Ollie found one sort of late summer, before the wet period actually. And within the council shutting it off, it dried up. Then obviously we had the very wet period, which I know everyone couldn't believe that it was just rain. It was rain. Just quickly before Ollie answers, if you want to go and see a leak and what the road can still do now, past the golf club, up past the meadow, past Vanguard, there is a leak.
Yeah.
And it runs constantly into people's allotments. That you'll see a perfect example of how wet that is now compared to our golf course, which doesn't have a leak.
Yeah.
So that's a good, if not that people are going to walk around there, but as I live literally 20 yards away from it, it's a huge constant running stream of water from somewhere under the road that cuts across the path into the allotments. Still now. So you would see it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been asked this question probably since I've been there. I think if there was a leak, you'd still see it now, as you say, Wes. It's always been. I mean, I've seen old historical maps that Jeff Nolan produced, and all down the 2nd, all down the 8th was wetlands. And when they put the A40 in back in the 30s, you're upsetting all of these sort of areas basically. So I think it's just a wet bit of land that needs a lot of drainage basically. So and you can see there's an old ditch work there and stuff like that. So it's been a historical issue. So no, I think that's my view. What's your view? Yes or no, Ollie? I'm no. Wes is no.
Yes, occasionally I've seen them. Because I walked down. Definitely the 8th. There was something going on. Because, but again, it's old pipe work. I mean, the most recent one, or people will remember, was just by the clubhouse when that pipe went there.
That's right.
And we were getting flooded just on the back of the 8th on the way to the halfway.
That's what I mean. You can see when a pipe.
So every now and then, pipes and things do go. So I think it does every now and then, but. Ultimately it was just a bloody wet winter.
It was ultimately. Right, another question. Steve Alexander has asked, the area at the back of the full fairway, so where you hit to and then you play left, that area there, it's full of brambles and stuff like that. Any plans to clear and expose this area?
There was one. I was just going to share the screen and just show from last time the picture. Me, Greg, and Ollie do have a running plan of all the jobs. It's definitely something I think me and Ollie wanted to do, and then we found out Greg's had it on a list as well for probably 5 years prior to us
15.
Even.
It's a 5-year
it's
plan.
It's a wish list plan.
It's a 5-year plan. It's 15 years old now.
Let me see if I can get it up. But while we're going on about it, it's basically priority list.
You try and find that, and I'll talk. But basically, with this is what we call development plans, and these development plans are ongoing, and some of them have been on a list for 10, 15 years, if I'm honest, since I've been involved. And I know you guys go around, and when you walk around a golf course, you can see probably 10 to 15. There it is. Yeah, this is our sort of what we call ongoing 5-year plan, which I always laugh at because it's probably now 15 years old. So it's never ending. Ultimately it's a golf course and 88 acres, and it's never you never get to the end of it, because when you do tick things off, other things then get highlighted. A bit like the drainage, which I talked about. We've done a lot of drainage over the last 10 years, and having had this winter, we need to do more. So it just never gets to the end of it. But that's basically, you can see, if you look down the right hand side in that sheet, you can see a lot of completed stuff, but there's still a lot of stuff to be done there. So in answer to that question, yes, there has been a plan to tidy that area up. But I think, like any plan, it ranks in a list of priorities, and at the moment, ultimately, we have higher priorities, unfortunately. But we at one stage before I go, hopefully we'll get there, get the dig in there, and rip it out.
But just to show that shows everyone, all the members. That's only holes 1 to 5 of a list that are screenshotted. Every hole we've got on there of tweaks, plans, little things that basically we send to the board every year, and down on the 4th mound at the end of the fairway to be closed, established trees. That I think that was on there. I think when I first got here. So that would have been on there for a long time. Okay. Moving on. Pam Fox. Hi, Pam and Tim. Hope you're keeping well. Has asked a question. A couple of questions, actually. She asked about consistency of tee markers for ladies. So for the red markers. She feels, in answer reading the question, certain holes such as the 2nd and the 8th sometimes get positioned in the same spot. So she's asked, could we have some variation in the ladies' tee markers? And then unevenness of tees. So I think this is just not for the ladies, actually. She's mentioned the 6th for the ladies, but I think for the all sections, I think there's an unevenness of tees. So do you want to just answer the consistency of tee markers first? One of you. Go on, Ollie. You can go on that one.
Well, I was going to say, did you want to go? Because you kind of.
I definitely. I know Ollie's sort of passionate about where he's been noticing tees, leveling tees for years. Same thing. That sheet that we just showed, we've already got stuff that we want to do. It's time and when we can. And as things maybe get freed up, which obviously this period and lockdown isn't going to help with one bit in terms of money to do projects, and 2, staffing issues and reduced staff that we might go through. So leveling tees, unfortunately, probably, Pam, we won't be getting onto that for a while, even though it's something that we personally actually really want to do ourselves, especially me and Ollie. Definitely want to. In terms of your tee positions, speaking to you, I know your theories on it. I know Ricky's obviously sort of theories are different, and so are mine, and so probably members as well. We like to try and give every sort of level of golfer a chance to play the best view, not extending carries too far on fairways or giving everyone a happy medium. Tees can definitely be moved around. We have a theory on the golf course is a certain yardage. So every tee disc on every tee in the season, basically, only time we'll break that really is in the winter, where we're trying to spread the wear. So we move ladies' tees around or men's tees around to spread wear. In the summer, we try not to go behind each set of discs. So, for example, if you're the Reds, we try not to go behind the red disc too much, even though you've got, I think Ricky will tell us, about 100 yards of difference. So, yes, we can. And maybe we should look at it and try and give everyone a varied look. On your question on tees, I don't know whether as well you meant trying to make some more tee space for the ladies' tee boxes. The 8's a classic, is pretty much a round circle. To make it bigger, if the irrigation doesn't fit the tee, then you're talking quite a big expense to make a tee actually bigger, because you need the irrigation to cover that tee box. If it doesn't fit, it won't. You're then talking, $2,000 maybe to literally just make a tee bigger, because you have to have irrigation to keep it alive. If you don't, you'll have a bigger tee. Yeah. One bit will look good, one that will be horrible, and then you'll just turn around going, can you just put it back because it looks horrible? Again, money.
I think it's a fair comment, because on my travels I see that a lot, where some members have wanted a bigger tee and they cut a section out and then don't do anything with the irrigation system. And then what you do, you end up with tee conditioning looking terrible. One bit looks lovely and green, and the next bit looks burnt out. So I see that a lot. So I think that's a fair comment. On the unevenness of the tees, quite a few gents have mentioned this as well. And I'm a golfer myself, and I see some of the tees, and some of them do need some investment, but unfortunately it comes into a list of priorities, and I think our biggest priority over the last 10 years has been drainage, which is not the most exciting thing, but for us, Ealing, to try and make it more playable in the wetter season is quite important. So, and it just becomes a time thing then, because we generally do things in-house. We just haven't got the time to go and then tackle other projects such as tee, evenness, bunkers, stuff like that, really. If we had some spare capital, which is probably not the best time to talk about this now, but if we did have some spare capital, then potentially we could look contractors to come in and do some tee work. But unfortunately, I think us, like a lot of clubs, will have to rethink our sort of strategy going forward, really. So, okay, that's thanks, Pam. Thanks for that. She did actually ask the question on the old ladies 50, why we don't use that. Quite a simple answer to that: health and safety. The reason why it got took out of play was because the second tee shot, people did get hit, so we decided to take that out. So that's the reason why that tee looks immaculate, and that one's on it. Tom Herbert, she's asked about the damage to the fairways and rough repaired. I think we answered that in part one, didn't we? That you've been round repairing the damage from the winter on that side of things. Yeah,
trying to. And same again. The rough, we start with the most vital in play areas. Yeah. Greens, corners, tees, fairways, and then move out. Sometimes we might not quite get to the rougher parts, basically.
Okay. And then Michael Parkin asked about bird damage. Again, we tackled that in part one.
Yeah, leather jackets.
Yeah, leather jackets, an ongoing issue, leather jackets. That is not an easy...
Again, with the experimenting, we have tried, there are a few experimental sort of spray things that we've tried. Sort of all organic these days, as Greg said, no insecticides. So, we have been playing around with that.
And what's your feedback on that so far, Ollie?
I think both me and Wes agree. We feel like we use the product, it's basically a byproduct of the sugarcane industry, molasses. So it's quite a black, sort of tarry looking liquid. Mix that up, and we sprayed that out there with a wetting agent to help it get into the soil profile. Me and Wes, we're judging this quite anecdotally. We felt the seagull and crow activity definitely declined after applying it.
Interesting.
So whether that was just pure coincidence or not, we're not 100% sure. But like all these things, it's a sort of bit of trial and error.
I think that's going to be it. When you don't have something licensed, it is going to be. There's a lot of, in the industry, they call it snake oils. They just throw a lot of products out there, and unfortunately, you have to trial it on your own, and it's time consuming and can be quite costly to do that. So, that's good to look at that.
All the potions and the garlic, this, that, and the other. We won't be trying that.
No, that stinks. Okay, just going to the last question then. Kevin Hughes, who we all know, Yeah, always comes down and divots, Kevin. Kevin's top man when we
gets the beers in.
Always see Kevin. Some members always say they're going to come, and I never see some of them. But Kevin's always that guy that will definitely be there. So, hi there, Kevin. He's asked a question on quite a good question actually on machinery and technology. What are you seeing any machines in the market that potentially could benefit Ealing in the future if we could, purchase them? And then the next question is the 13th approach, the trees. Which I know quite a few members mentioned that. I quite like that actually. Makes my little draw fires it in there. On the first question, any good machinery technologies you're seeing out there at the moment?
I'll jump in there. That probably from my side, one of the big things we're seeing is the GPS technology, especially with the spraying side of things. So, I mean, people might not know, but it's been around in sort of agriculture for a long time, and well developed. And, we all use GPS on our phones and this, that, and the other. So I think we all know how much of a part of our lives it's become. So basically these systems, you map out the area and it will self-drive and operate the sprayer, turning the sprayer on and off to, accurately map the area or spray the area that you need to. So the benefits of that, talking to a couple of guys in the industry who are using the system are the amounts they're saving in chemical and costs that way. Because they're just able to be so accurate. As good as I think I am, I'm sure these computers have probably got the edge when they're really dialed in. I think that's something Ealing could look at in the future. Maybe not quite yet, just due to the cost, and it's still, in terms of golf courses, still quite a new technology. But I think that's definitely something the club look at.
That will come because the technology is looking at things like weeds. When you spray for weeds, you spray the whole golf course, which in effect you only probably need to spray 5%. Sensors, I think that will come, and also they're looking at disease as well. Any disease pressures, they're looking at that side. So I think that will definitely over the next few years, if not decades, will come into the industry. Yeah, without question. Okay, and what about the 13th approach then? What's our thoughts on the 13th approach, which a few members mentioned? The trees coming in.
I don't know how many people were here before. We've already whipped out the willow in front of the river. We're all sort of quite proactive, as everyone knows. There's a few jokes going around on taking trees out. We try and obviously do it for the right reason.
I thought, didn't a few of them have the virus, the trees? I thought.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's definitely been one of those. Conifers fallen down since. We were looking at it today, actually. There's a picture I put up earlier. I probably should have brought that back up with this. Me and Greg have got a couple more plans to reduce the poplars on the left generally. So height, and mainly, again, because poplars are just prone to snapping very high up and are very big at the top. So danger-wise, for people playing underneath it, it's huge. So we try and we do a tree assessment sort of ongoing or any after high wind. Before the coronavirus hit, sort of any time now, the three of those the one would have been taken out, and I think 3 would have been pollarded down about half height. Further up, again, we're probably going to have to get a contractor in to do it, which, because me and Ollie we can't climb a tree and limb. I'm not against reducing outwards. I don't think I'd totally remove a tree there, because I think it does cause a tactical question of, have you put your ball in the right position on a fairway? But I don't agree, if you've hit the fairway, you should have a block out on the left, which I think me and Ollie were looking today, and a poplar that was on the plan for now to be limbed is actually covering quite a big part of that fairway. So it's in my mind. Maybe when money picks back up, we'll.
No. I mean, we've been budgeting around about 5,000 a year on tree management. We've got that, and we're working around the golf course. I think at some stage we will need to open that green up a bit, but I quite like that hole. To me, it frames the hole and adds a lot of strategy. It's probably our best hole on the golf course, if I'm honest, from the way it plays. Probably the 6th is a beast, but that one, 13, to me is a lovely hole. It's just the way it moves around to the left. So I can understand the pain of some members, but just remember, if you stand in the middle of the fairway, you'll see the green, no problem at all. So as someone who speaks who's a very poor driver of the ball, and a lot of my friends are probably laughing their heads off right now. So, okay, we've got to end up, I'm afraid, because we are running out of time with this Zoom call. We have 40 minutes and we've got not long left. Is there anything you guys want to just add at the end briefly?
I'll just say, obviously to the members, thanks for everyone's input. From the guys, obviously still working out there, we do miss having you around, believe it or not. It's quite odd. It feels bizarre producing something for no one effectively at the moment, even though we hopefully will be at one point. So it'd be good when we open back up. Look forward to seeing you. Grab a beer and get on and play some golf, and I can't wait for that, really. Hope everyone's keeping safe, and I'll try and put out some more pictures on Twitter and just keep you sort of interested. But look forward to the day where we're back playing. I'll see you on the tee.
Yeah. Where you, Ollie? Anything to sign off with?
Just similar to Wes. Just thanks all the members and their interest as well. It's been nice sort of reading the emails and hearing the things that you've sort of had on your mind that you wanted to quiz us on. It's been good. But like Wes said, just looking forward to getting back in the bar after a day's work. That's probably one of the biggest things I miss. And playing a bit of golf and having a chat with everyone out on the course, because can get a bit lonely, but be nice to see everyone out there again. Well, so, cheers for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've already done a can of Carling, so this could be a long night the way it's going. We've probably got another few weeks left of this, but I think everyone's looking forward to getting the golf course back open, up and running. Give us some focus on the course, because it can be hard to keep your focus when you don't feel you're going somewhere. So I think we're all looking forward to getting you all back. So keep in touch, and we'll see how this goes. We might do another one of these in a couple of weeks' time. We might do a live one actually, which members can link into that. If someone in our IT department can figure it out, which is challenging.
Bobby G.
Yeah. But thanks everyone, and thanks Wes and Ollie. Cheers, and have a good Friday night. And Wes, you've got to get back to Emma and Fern, haven't you?
That's it. Let's see what damage we've caused.
All right, mate. See you later. Bye-bye.
Nice.
Ta-ta.
Bye.